handful of Democrats come to the table, allowing the Senate to advance a measure to end the government shutdown. One World starts right now. After 41 days, the longest U.S. government shutdown in the nation's history is almost over. Plus, the former jihadist turned Syrian president makes an historic visit to the White House after taking control of the country from Bashar al-Assad. And Canada has lost its measles elimination status and a large ongoing outbreak of the disease. Live from Atlanta, I'm Lynda Kinkade. Zane and Vienna are off today. Good to be with you. This is One World. Well, a hugely symbolic moment for Syria's new president. Any moment now, Ahmed al-Sharaa will sit down with Donald Trump at the White House. An historic meeting that caps his remarkable transformation from a jihadist to a leader on the global stage. Well, the visit comes just days after the UN Security Council voted to lift sanctions on al-Sharaa, and the US removed his status as a specially designated global terrorist. Trump and al-Sharaa last met in Saudi Arabia back in May, months after he led a campaign that toppled the decades-old Assad regime. We'll have more on that meeting once it happens. But first, the longest U.S. government shutdown in history may be over very soon. The Senate is meeting this hour after a group of Democrats on Sunday dropped their key demand and backed a Republican funding bill. Lawmakers must now clear a series of procedural hurdles before voting on that measure, which would fund the government until the end of January. And while the bill guarantees a vote on expanded health care subsidies, it does not guarantee to approve the subsidies. The House, meanwhile, which has been in recess for nearly 2 months, must still vote on the bill. Here's what Speaker Mike Johnson said a short time ago.
I'm thankful to welcome you to what appears to be the beginning of the end of the longest government shutdown in U.S. history, as shameful as that is. It's after 40 days of wandering in the wilderness and making the American people suffer needlessly, some Senate Democrats finally have stepped forward to end the pain. It appears to us this morning that our long national nightmare is finally coming to an end, and we're grateful for that.
CNN's Alayna Treene joins us now from the White House. Good to have you with us, Alayna. So after 41 days, the government shutdown looks like it is nearing an end after a handful of Democrats and independents said enough is enough. Just take us through the next steps right now.
Yeah, I mean, this is going to be historic already. You know, we are in a record-breaking shutdown, the longest shutdown in history. You said it, 41 days, and it does appear to be ended this week. The Senate went through some procedural votes yesterday. They still have other steps to get through before that chamber can actually approve the bill and pass the bill to reopen the government. A number of Senate Democrats, more centrist, moderate Democrats who have been working behind closed doors with Republicans to work out some sort of deal to reopen the government, had voted to approve that. Now, I should note there are many Senate Democrats who are furious with the fact that members of their own party had broken with them to approve this deal, because one of the biggest sticking points, of course, through this entire fight has been the issue of health care subsidies under the Affordable Care Act. This bill that they are approving and are hoping to have officially passed through Congress and the House by the end of the week does not guarantee that that issue is going to be fixed. They are promised to have a vote on extending the subsidies for healthcare by the end of the year, but that doesn't mean it's going to be approved. And one of the biggest issues, of course, is particularly when it comes to Republicans who control both majorities, the House and the Senate, they are very divided on the approach to healthcare. And so many other Democrats who did not approve this plan that some members of their party had negotiated with Republicans, they are very concerned about what this could mean. So, like I said, by the end of this week, we should potentially see the government reopened if the Senate moves forward with this, and the House is expected to also approve it as well. And that means starting next week, we can start seeing some of the biggest pain points from this shutdown be eased. FAA, the Federal Aviation, having flights go back on time, less cancellations, less delays, safer to travel, particularly as we get closer to Thanksgiving, Lynda. But also, SNAP benefits would be restored until 2026. The government reopened until January. Of course, that's only a short time from now. That means they're still going to have this fight again come early next year. But it would really ease a lot of the suffering Americans have had. And people are saying you should start to see some of the bounce back immediately once the government opens, hopefully as early as next week.
Yeah, you can only hope so for those going without pay right now. Alayna, Treene, for us outside the White House, thanks so much. And we are going to stay on this story. I want to welcome Larry Sabato, the director of the University of Virginia Center for Politics and the editor of A Return to Normalcy, the 2020 election that almost broke America. He joins us now live from Charlottesville, Virginia. Great to see you, Larry.
Nice to see you, Lynda.
So, Larry, essentially Democrats voted to reopen the government, but without a deal on the healthcare subsidies, essentially kicking that can down the road. Critics are calling this a capitulation. Is it?
Yes. Remember, it's only 8 Democrats. The vast majority of Democrats stayed loyal to the plan. The reason the 8 changed, I believe, well, they had individual reasons, but mainly it was because they didn't see an end to this. There was no hope that the Republicans were really going to cave. They didn't seem to care very much about the consequences, and they were willing to hang on. And President Trump insisted that they hang on. And so in the end, it was up to Democrats to decide whether they wanted to put Americans through a nightmare as Thanksgiving approached, when basically the air system, if not shut down, would be so greatly limited that people couldn't get to their family and friends. That would really have been a disaster, and the public reaction would have been intense.
Yeah, 100%. We are seeing open frustration. We heard from the Californian governor, Newsom, who called this pathetic. Also from prominent senators like Bernie Sanders and John Hickenlooper. I just want to play some of that sound.
Now, I know as part of this resolution that the majority leader is going to say, well, Democrats can put together their own bill, and it'll come to the floor here in the Senate for a vote. As everybody here knows, that is a totally meaningless gesture.
I mean, I voted no just because I'm so pissed off. I'm just frustrated that you're right, 40 days, and we gave them every chance to negotiate a moderate, doesn't have to put the whole thing back, and they wouldn't do it.
Larry, does this expose deeper divisions within the left?
Well, it does now. They were pretty united for the first 40 days or so. But essentially, Bernie Sanders is absolutely correct there. Anybody who thinks that this Republican Congress or this Republican president is going to go along with the health care bill that was passed under President Obama, it's known as Obamacare, is really smoking something you can't buy at the local drugstore. They're not going to do it. So Democrats are going to get a vote on some kind of proposal that they're going to put forward. They actually get to write the bill. Now, why would the majority leader, a Republican of the U.S. Senate, give Democrats that opportunity to write the bill? Because he knows it isn't going to pass. And if somehow it passed the Senate, it's going to be killed in the House. And if somehow 2 miracles occurred and the Senate and the House passed it, President Trump is not about to let Obamacare go by his desk. The Republicans have always opposed this health care, and they're going to do it again.
Yeah. Congressman Ro Khanna is now openly calling for Chuck Schumer to be replaced as majority leader, saying he's no longer effective. This is what he said. He said, if you can't lead the fight to stop healthcare premiums from skyrocketing for Americans, what will you fight for? To your point, Larry, as well, how serious is that kind of talk? Could we see a shakeup within the Democratic leadership heading into 2026?
It's fascinating. We've already seen candidates, Democratic candidates, running for the U.S. Senate in 2026, some in primaries, coming out and demanding that Chuck Schumer step down, either retire or simply step down as majority leader. The rank and file are furious. Look at social media. The Democratic rank and file are climbing the walls. Now, there are a few people that support this compromise, but mainly there's deep anger, and that's going to persist for a while. They put a lot of chips down on the table, and basically the Democrats said to the Republicans, here, have our chips.
Yeah. Speaking of that leverage, I mean, at the end of the day, you pointed out this fact earlier. Millions of Americans did not want this government shutdown to continue going into the Thanksgiving period. We've already seen mass cancellations and delays of flights across the country. Politically speaking, did the Democrats simply just give up their leverage too easily?
Oh, I think they did. What's amazing is the Democrats were winning. Now, yes, the American people were the losers, as everybody always says, and the air traffic controllers and the TSA people and the military, all those waiting for larger paychecks and their paychecks to come back, they were losing, no question about it. But the American people were blaming Republicans heavily, disproportionately. Trump and the Republicans running Congress were getting the blame. Plus, Democrats won a landslide nationally last Tuesday in the off-year elections. And the Democrats have just given all that up. They've killed the joy that their rank and file had, and they've taken Democrats from cloud nine and sent them to purgatory.
All right, Sabato, always great to get your analysis. Much appreciated. Thanks so much.